Peter Collins alongside me has had a look at the track. It looks in good condition.
Yeah, the track's absolutely perfect, Tony. We've got two very evenly matched teams here, and I'm sure we're in for a fantastic meeting.
Well, the meeting could be fantastic. This heat one could be a key win as the tapes go up and away on the inside. Jason Crump is quickly away. DUGARD goes wide. The Australians come through. But up in second place there is Paul Thorpe with Jason Crump out front. DUGARD really lost it on the first bend. And now this is going the way of the Australians with Crump out front.
Yeah, that was a lovely start from Crump there. He's riding really, really well. This track's in very, very good condition, and the way he's going may even see a new track record here.
A real disappointment though for DUGARD on the back, but now it's Crump 1, Thorpe for England is 2, back in third place, Johnson for Australia, at the rear is Martin DUGARD, who's hardly making any headway. Looks to be a fair amount of dirt on that top bend, the first bend, but away down the back straight with just over a lap to go is Phil Crump, the 20-year-old, who's going brilliantly, the current World Under-21 champion, out front and having it very much his own way there. Jason Crump ahead of in second place, Paul Thorpe, DUGARD making ground at the back. Could he pull it round the bend? Because DUGARD is trying. He's going to come through on the inside, and he's going to make third place. DUGARD gets it to pull a 3-all for England, producing something out of nothing. Jason Crump won it and did well there. Paul Thorpe was in second place in red, but Martin DUGARD came from nowhere to make it a 3-all.
Yes, just watch this start here. The rider on the outside makes a nice start. See again there, Crump on the inside. He drops that clutch. He's really pulling away. The front wheel's off the ground. He's really pulling well off the inside there. He's rushing to the inside of the first corner. Paul Thorpe there on the outside, really got no answer to that. He's having to take a wider line than he wants to. DUGARD's doing a very wide run on the first turn. He got a bit of a nudge there by Steve Johnson in the yellow helmet, but by this time, Crump's already clear. He's got the race completely under control. There's Thorpe pushing through on the inside. Johnson's trying to run around the outside of Thorpe there, but I don't think he's got enough speed. Crump's away, and that's a great result that for England.
England 3, Australia 3 after the first heat. It couldn't be tighter, of course, as we go into heat number 2 now, which sees the 4 reserves from the 2 teams out here now. That's Steve Schofield, the smallest yet oldest rider here this evening from the Poole Pirates. He rides in the blue helmet colours for England. That man in red is Ben Howe, coming as a late replacement at reserve following the withdrawal of Kelvin Tatum and the promotion of Paul Thorpe. Ben Howe, the 21-year-old from Ipswich. The Australian representatives, Jason Lyons, is in the white helmet colours. He goes from gate number 2. And on the outside, that's Shane Bowes. He comes into the team late, the 26-year-old. He replaces, or rather, the change sees Steve Johnson move up into the team with Shane Parker out injured. Howe on the inside. Jason Lyons next to him. Schofield is in gate 3. Shane Bowes on the outside. Ben Howe, the 21-year-old youngster, he provides a key perhaps for England in this one. Looking across to the tapes there, the young Ipswich rider. The starting marshal about to move away. After the tapes and away on the inside, they all lift, but in white there coming through is Jason Lyons, but round on the outside, picking up the grip, Shane Bowes. It's Australia 1 and 2 at the moment, but round the outside goes Steve Schofield, trying to make ground. That was a tight first bend, Peter.
Yeah, this doesn't look good for England, does it? The Australians here in a 5-1, first and second. Come on, the English boys, you've got to do something quick.
Well, there is some dirt on this track, and it's very deep on that bend, but coming through on the inside there for England is Ben Howe. The challenge from the 21-year-old youngster from Ipswich, but coming back is Lyons. We've got some action here. Howe seems to have had a problem at the back. Schofield and Howe now tail off. Howe went into second place, and then relegated back to last. Clearly has a machine problem, but with just over a lap to go, it's Australia 1 and 2. Opening up the gap they want here. In yellow and black, it's Shane Bowes. Shane Bowes ahead of Jason Lyons. Schofield in third place, but disappointment for Ben Howe, who found power from nowhere and now is just trickling around. No doubt about the winner here, though. In yellow and black for Australia, that's Shane Bowes. His teammate Jason Lyons is in second place. Steve Schofield is in third. That's a 5-1 to the Australians that takes them into a 4-point lead, and it went very much their own way.
Well, that was some really good team riding there from Australia. We can see the start there. The English lads must have been asleep there on the gate. Ben Howe there in the red helmet didn't make it at all. He seemed to lift terribly. You see his front wheel in there. But Jason Lyons also lifted a lot. So did Steve Schofield there in the blue. But the Australian there in the white helmet, Jason Lyons, gets there first. but you look across and there's his teammate Shane Bowes also there with him.
Well, from then on, it finished up Australia 1 and 2, despite a flirtation from Ben Howe to get into the act. A heat won by Shane Bowes ahead of Jason Lyons. England's representative Steve Schofield in third place. 5-1 to the Australians. And with 2 heats gone, the Aussies lead by 8 points to 4. There on the inside in white is Leigh Adams in Australia. Next to him, Mark LORAM from England. Ron Sullivan, the Australian, is in gate 3 in yellow and black. On the outside in red is Chris Louis. Louis and LORAM represent England. Sullivan and Adams for Australia. This is heat 3 with England trailing by 4 points. Starting Marshall getting a bit impatient as he gets them up the tape to the end. They've taken a while to settle. He marches away. Up go the tapes, almost a full start, but away goes Leigh Adams on the inside. Coming round wide is Chris Louis, picking up the dirt, picking up the speed, and going away as his bike lifts down the back straight. Now can LORAM put in a challenge, which he does on the inside. Mark LORAM is going to go through into second place. Now it's England 1 and 2. Great riding by that English pair.
Yes, absolutely marvellous there. Chris Louis made the start, but Mark LORAM really had to work there as he squeezed his way past Leigh Adams. But now we've got a 5-1, so this is really what we need at this stage, because we don't want the Australians to get far ahead, but this will make us a draw if it stays like this.
Well, this will level it up again at heat 3, but this pair here of Chris Louis in front in red and Mark LORAM in blue in second place are carrying all before them here. Sullivan and Adams are trailing. Adams in third place, Sullivan at the back. But now with just over half a lap to go, it's England 1 and 2. Time to look back. And through go Chris Louis on the outside in red. Louis is going to take the checkered flag ahead of his brother-in-law in blue, Mark LORAM. Back in third place is Leigh Adams. Just what England wanted to do, winning that heat by 5 points to 1 and levelling up the series. But the quality there out front from the heat winner in red, Chris Louis, he showed it all the way.
Well, that was just what England needed, wasn't it? You see Chris Louis there on the inside in the red. See him there, drop the clutch there. The bike lifts immediately. The front wheel's hardly turning. His legs are trailing at the back to get as much weight on the back wheel as possible. He's accelerating there at a phenomenal rate as he gets to the corner. He's just got enough speed there to nip ahead of Leigh Adams there. You can see Leigh in the white helmet. You've got Mark LORAM there in the blue, sort of in pursuit. He's trying to get very, very tight round the inside there of Leigh Adams, but Chris Louis in the red pulls close back to the line, forces Leigh Adams to ride quite a tight line there. There's a bit of extra speed there from LORAM as he runs along the inside, as he's got Leigh Adams in his sights, but there's Louis in front. Leigh Adams is chasing him into that corner. LORAM does a dive up the inside. I think Leigh Adams there is too wide really. He's off the racing line, which allows Mark LORAM to dive through. There's still lots of grip on that inside. LORAM takes it, he looks across there. He can't believe his luck there. He's in there with his teammate for a 5-1.
5-1 it was. Chris Louis winning ahead of Mark LORAM and Leigh Adams. 5-1 to England. And with 3 heats gone now, England 9, Australia 9, and all to race for.
5-1 straight back at the Aussies, you two, keeping it in the family.
Yeah, so I made a good start. I thought on the first corner it was Mark, so I didn't pin him right down, but it turned out it was Leigh. But Mark got straight past him and away went from there. He looked after me a bit. It was a bit difficult riding on the top of the banking for a few races.
Good team riding. I saw you there all the way, Mark. You were keeping an eye on Chris?
That's right, yeah, he was out there and I thought they might be right behind me, but luckily on the last lap I looked and there was a fair bit back, so we sort of cruised from there.
Joe Screen there in the red helmet colours and going from the outside holds England's hope here of moving into the lead. Next to him is Craig Boyce, the Australian captain in white. Steve Schofield in blue with his second ride of the day. He's in gate 2, and on the inside is Shane Bowes, the Australian reserve, in yellow and black. That's the lineup. There is Joe Screen with a back view of him as he gets ready to get away from the tapes. He goes from the outside gate. He's going to have to dive across and hold it with lots of dirt on that first bend. Joe Screen, I'm sure, knows exactly what he has to do. Starting marshal having problems with Steve Schofield. Scoey, of course, with a third place in his first ride. This is second ride of the night. The little man from Paul in the blue helmet colours. Up go the tapes and away we go. Schofield is his first to the bend, holding it tight, going round on the outside is Craig Boyce. Joe Screen's at the back and has an awful lot of work to do. Going round the outside, Boyce in white. Schofield is holding him. Screen dives across the bend, inside to out, finishes back in last place. A courageous dive, but it got him nowhere.
Yes, he certainly took a dive there, didn't he?
Oh, and at the back now, talk about taking a dive. Shane Bowes is off. He's taken a spin under pressure there. He's rebounded though, which leaves Joe Screen back in third place. Out front though, it's Steve Schofield in blue, ahead of Craig Boyce, the Australian captain. England with a 4-2 advantage as things stand at the moment will go into the lead with this one, but Schofield is out front now, being put under pressure by Boyce on the inside with a lap to go. It's Schofield for Boyce. The turns are tight. Here comes Boyce coming again. Schofield looks back, opens up the gap, and that's good for the English because Scoey is surely going to win this if he holds on, which he does. In red blue, it's Steve Schofield. In second place in white, it's Craig Boyce, and just across the line, Joe Screen makes it for a 4-2 to England. An eventful race, and Steve Schofield used the track to his advantage, and a well-deserved winner for England of heat number 4.
Yes, Tony, Steve Schofield is the oldest rider on the England team. He's 38 years old, and he actually started his riding career here in the first division with Wolverhampton, and it certainly showed there with his home track knowledge. But you see Joe Screen there on the outside. He doesn't really make it at all. He's lost ground there. Craig Boyce in the white helmet almost takes his foot away, but you see Schofield there on the inside. He's only about 5'0", each young Steve, but he takes a lovely first turn there, pushes Boyce wide, and he really rides the ride of his career there to hold off Boyce during that ride.
A brilliant ride then by the eldest rider in the field, Steve Schofield, winning that heat ahead of Craig Boyce and Joe Screen. Crash here saw Shane Bowes take a spin. Peter, it was tough for him.
Shane rushed in the corner there far too fast. I think he thought that Joe Screen was really going to dive underneath him again, as he did earlier the lap before. But I think he just lost it.
Well, he got back on. He wasn't involved in the finish. That belonged to Steve Schofield. A 4-2 heat advantage to the English. And now with 4 heats gone, England lead Australia by 13 points to 11.
Good ride there, and a fighting one as well, Scoey.
Yeah, it was pretty hard. Craig was giving me a hard from behind, you know, and we ride together in the same club, you know, and I knew he's pretty hard, and I just had to keep my head down and get going, and lucky enough it worked out okay.
Good scout, though, the man you wanted to beat, really.
You want to beat everybody, not just Craig, you know, but yeah, it worked out okay. I'm not complaining. It was, you know, I'm happy with that.
You might have been the man, though, that's demoralised the team with that win over the captain.
Let's hope it is, because we need a win tonight, good for English Speedway, and we need to beat the Aussies because they've always been us the last few seasons. They're a very strong team, and hopefully we can have a result tonight.
Great racing. England have the advantage over Australia then. We'll take a break. See you in a moment. Have work to do. Let's go back to our commentary team of Peter Collins and Tony Millard.
Joe's coming round very, very quickly indeed to get into position at tapes there and get us underway with heat number 7. There's Joe Screen going to the inside gate. He's looking to make it to the bend first, and I know Joe's conscious of his lack of gating ability at the moment. The rest are coming up to tapes now. Next to Joe Screen in white is the Australian Leigh Adams. In gate 3 for England is Ben Howe. On the outside is Ryan Sullivan from Australia. Screen on the inside. Adams next to him. Ben Howe in gate 3. That's the rear view of Joe Screen. If he can get away from tapes here, this could be fine. 2 points in this 10th match. We move up to heat 7. Away they go. Joe Screen on the inside. Does make it to the bend. Comes out well. Pursued by the man in white. Leigh Adams on the outside. But coming through on the inside is Ben Howe. A good bend for him as Adams goes wide and Howe comes through in second place. Good move that for the English. Screen doing brilliantly, but Howe almost as well.
Yeah, this is more like the Joe Screen that we know, but Ben Howe is really, really going well. He had a good first ride apart from when his bike stopped, but Screen there, he's got a nice lead, although he runs wide here, he's still fast enough to keep on to that lead, and this is what we need here, 5-1 for England.
One seems to think at the moment the speed has been slowed up, but the action certainly hasn't on the heavy dirt on those bends, but there's Screen in front of Ben Howe. Ben Howe in second place. Back in third is Ryan Sullivan. Disappointment for Australia at the back in Leigh Adams, but a 5-1 for the English here would extend the margin to 6 points, and then who knows? Joe Screen down the back straight. The checkered flag is out to greet Screeny. A brilliant ride by the English, but ahead of Ben Howe. Credit to him. Back in third place is Ryan Sullivan. 5-1 to the English. A marvellous ride by that versatile speedway rider, Joe Screen. He did it all the way from the tapes. That last-minute clutch adjustment perhaps helped him a great deal. He's enjoyed that. Joe Screen did it from there.
Yeah, Screeny didn't have a good first ride at all, but that was much more like, you see him there, he makes a beautiful start, but he made some adjustments before he went round to the line. He adjusted the cable there, he perhaps had enough adjustment in there to give a little bit more clearance onto the clutch, and that certainly helped him to make a good start. You see Leigh Adams there gets pushed out, all that dirt's flying up from Screeny's back wheel, really filling him in because there is lots of dirt there, but you can see how they're following Screen through as Leigh Adams goes wide in that deep stuff.
Well, it ended with Joe Screen in front of Ben Howe, a maximum heat victory for England with Ryan Sullivan and Leigh Adams following. 5-1 to England, and now with 7 heats gone, England lead by 24 points to 18. All 14 riders here tonight have now had 2 rides. Chris Lewis won both of his outings so far. He's the top scorer with 6 points. Australians Jason CRUMP and Craig Boyce have 5 apiece. The Englishmen Steve Schofield and Joe Screen each have 4. They've won 1 race each. Schofield then on the inside. Shane Bowes next to him in yellow and black. Martin DUGARD wearing the red helmet colours goes from gate 3. And Steve Johnson is on the outside. But that is the key to this one. That is Steve Schofield. Up go the tapes, and away goes Steve Schofield on the inside, holding it tight, coming wide. Great support from Martin DUGARD. Picks up round the outside and into the bench behind him goes Steve Johnson. The referee will have to stop this one. Johnson is down there. Surely he'll be excluded. The exclusion light goes on. The white light goes on down in front of us. Steve Johnson is out of this. It will be restarted with just 3 riders, and 2 of them will be Englishmen, and that could extend their lead. With the crowd watching here at Monmore Green with some intensity, they saw the action on that bend as Steve Johnson appeared to run out of space and ultimately ran out of track.
Yeah, you see Steve Johnson here in the white helmet. He's just there, he gets a load of grip, he's going in the wrong direction, he's building up speed, he's going straight to the fence, he realises he's not going to get round the corner, he bails out of the bike, he slides along behind it, he sends the bike into the safety fence first.
Just 3 riders then with Johnson off in this rerun. Martin DUGARD and Steve Schofield for England. Shane Bowes in yellow and black is the sole representation of the Australians, and he has it all to do in this one. Shane Bowes from Adelaide carries the Australian flag here. Excluded, of course, the man on the outside was Steve Johnson. Schofield on the inside, Bowes and DUGARD. Schofield made it for the tapes first time, he's done it again. DUGARD repeating his pack around the outside there, and he goes into the front down the back straight, along with Schofield to shut out the Australians and create a 5-1 here for the English as things stand at the moment. This lead, if they extend it now, as it seems likely, will allow the opportunity for the Australians to have a tactical substitute. This time it's DUGARD way out in front, Schofield and plenty of space back to Bowes.
Yeah, this is great team riding from England here. You can see DUGARD there. He's riding out very wide. He's throwing all the dirt over the fence, so it's not being thrown over his mate Schofield. Schofield's getting a clean track to ride. DUGARD's really shielding him there. And this is really what team riding's all about, and it's just what we need.
This is going to put the English in a commanding lead with 8 heats gone, surely, and the Australians will have a mountain to climb. DUGARD in red, out in front of Steve Schofield. Back in 3rd place is Shane Bowes. But there's no contest here because the crowd will love this victory. Martin DUGARD of Eastbourne takes the checkered flag. In 2nd place, Steve Schofield of Poole. And back in 3rd place, the sole Australian representation from Shane Bowes means 5-1 to England. And the lead opens up to 10 points.
Yes, Tony, just watch what happens here on this first corner. You see Schofield there in the blue. He makes a nice start. He realises he's ahead of the Australian, so he gets a confidence boost as he rushes into that corner. But just look at DUGARD on the outside. We can see it again. Schofield makes a nice start there. The rider in the yellow and black lifts on in there, but Schofield rushes into that corner. You can see DUGARD on the outside. He looks across and he sees his mates there, and that really does give him a big boost of confidence as he rushes into that corner. DUGARD's riding out wide there. He knows Schofield's got the inside covered, and there's no way there for Bowes to come through between them, and the pair of them just accelerate for that 5-1.
From then on, it went all England's way. Martin DUGARD and Steve Schofield against Shane Bowes, completing a 5-1 for England. And with 8 heats gone, England lead by 29 points to 19.
Johnny, must be going better than planned, surely.
Yes, it is. You know, the track's been prepared very well this evening, and obviously that gives an opportunity for good racing and people to go, you know, round the outside and past if they want. And so therefore it's given an opportunity to both teams, and the meeting's going very well indeed. From our point of view, yes, we're in front at the moment, but, you know, things can change. There's only 8 races gone so far, another 8 to go, so we don't know what's going to happen. We should just keep plugging away at it.
The Champagne adjacent to the finishing line is already on ice, and at the moment it looks as if it'll be going the way of the English team, who lead by 10 points. And it could be said perhaps that track conditions have suited them perhaps a shade better than the Australians.
Well, it's just as I thought tonight, Tony. The track's very, very good. There's lots of dirt and grip out there, and you can see there on the kickboard that the fence is covered in that dirt. There's lots of dirt, great for racing.
Great for racing as we move into heat number 9 here, with the riders lining up at the tapes. In blue on the inside is Mark LORAM. Next to him in white, the Australian captain Craig Boyce. Chris Leigh from England is in gate 3. Jason Lyons is on the outside in yellow and black. That's the lineup. This is heat 9. This a vital one for the Australians. But if the English win this, and let's face it, Mark LORAM and Chris Leigh have been the most successful pairing so far, then surely things will be on the way. The Ashes series could already almost be in England's hands. Craig Boyce, though, won't let that happen without considerable effort from him. And, of course, his partner, Jason Lyons, in yellow and black. They're moving up to tapes. Starting marshal has all 4 there. Great view there of Jason Lyons. Looking across is Craig Boyce. Up go the tapes, away on the inside, but Boyce makes it to the bend. A bit of pushing there. Boyce goes wide, but not so wide as Chris Leigh. Leigh into the fence. 2 come down, and left on his own is Mark LORAM. The referee will have to sort that out, but we've got Mark LORAM, and he hasn't moved alongside Craig Boyce. Boyce is looking up, trapped by his bike. Mark LORAM has been projected, it seems. Or Chris, I beg your pardon. It's the 2 Australians, in fact, who finished up in the fence there. LORAM and Leigh are okay, but getting up there in white is Craig Boyce, and Jason Lyons has been projected through the fence, and he's in trouble, but it looks as if he might just be all right. The Australian teammates are gathering round. The English pair came away with that. The referee has decided that all 4 riders will be back in if all are fit and ready to ride, but a very shaken Jason Lyons there in yellow and black. Well, here's how it happened. It was crowded on the bend, but when they went wide, they went perhaps too wide.
Yeah, there was a lot of pushing and shoving here. Look at the rider in white there. He went straight into Jason Lyons, who's making a turn. Chris Leigh in front of us in the red is also in big trouble, but look at the 2 Australians there. They're going straight at the fence. They're both trying to get off the bike. Poor old Lyons there on the inside goes straight into it, and he disappears. He takes a head first dive straight under the kickboard, and that was very, very lucky that he got away with that. You can see it again there. The rider in white actually straightens up Craig Boyce and runs straight into Jason Lyons, and he completely runs out of track. The pair of them just tangle there. Lyons is flying through the air, straight under the kickboard there. I mean, we can smile about that because they both got up and walked away, but that could have been very nasty.
The man who took the brunt of that crash, Jason Lyons, is there. He's going from the outside. Sitting comfortably in gate 2 is Craig Boyce. There's the lineup. LORAM on the inside, Boyce gate 2, Chris Leigh gate 3, Jason Lyons on the outside gate 4. The restart of heat number 9. Starting marshal seems to be having his usual problem here, and now Jason Lyons has pulled away from the tapes. The outside gate for last-minute adjustments. Here we go. All's ready. Away they go on the inside. Mark LORAM to the bend first. LORAM's on the inside, going wide is Lyons again, bucking, rearing and picking up the grip. A marvellous ride by the Australian reserve, coming virtually from last to first from the outside gate and doing well.
Yes, it just shows you how tough these men are. Jason Lyons had come through the fence in that first start, and then in the rerun, here he is leading our best 2 riders. That's really tough, aren't they, these blokes?
But Craig Boyce disappointed for the Australians at the back and having to make up some ground. But Jason Lyons is showing what heroism is all about, having come back from that nasty fall. In pursuit is Mark Loram. Jason Lance is out front. Chris Louis is back in third. And right at the back is Craig Boyce, who might have looked for better, but now there goes Mark Loram, taking Jason Lance on the inside, commanding on that bend, and now down the back straight. Mark Loram is in front, and Loram now is surely set to take the checkered flag. Mark Loram wins this one in blue, ahead of in yellow Jason Lance. Back in third place is Chris Louis in red. That's a 4-2 to the English. The lead is extended to 12 points, and the effort of that man in blue, Mark Loram, responsible for that. Jason Lance couldn't hold it all the way. For three-quarters of the race, he rode well. But in the end, the triumph for England, and that man, Mark Loram.
Oh, that was a very brave first corner there from Lyons. It's on the outside start position. You can see Boyce there in the white. He's rushing towards that first turn there, ahead of Mark Loram. But look on the outside there, Jason Lyons in the yellow and black helmet. He's just about got there first with his mate. He takes a run into that dirt and he realises all the grips out there. Mark Loram's coming up the inside. He's having a go. He's trying to push Lyons wider, but Lyons holds the bike. He's not going to be intimidated there by Loram at all. He's getting lots of grip around the outside where he'd previously just gone through the fence. But as he come out of the corner, he's got enough speed to pull away from Loram to lead that race. This track is pretty similar to the track that he rides for in Bellevue in Manchester.
Heat one then by Mark Loram ahead of Jason Lance and Chris Louis. A 4-2 to England. But this is how it happened, and this is how Mark Loram got in front of Jason Lyons.
Yeah, Loram really took Lyons by surprise there. He had a load of speed. He came down the inside of the straight. He took the shortest way to the next corner, and really Lyons was caught napping there. He shouldn't really have allowed him to go by, but what a ride there from Mark Loram.
Well, that ride by Mark Loram gave a 4-2 to England, and they now lead by 33 points to 21. This is heat 10, and that man there is Jason CRUMP, coming into the yellow and black helmet colours as a tactical substitute because the Australians are 8 points or more behind. He takes the place of Brian Sullivan. Joining in the lineup, Paul Thorpe and Martin DUGARD as the English pairing. The man in white for Australia is Leigh Adams. So Thorpe in red, DUGARD blue, Adams white, CRUMP in yellow and black. That's the lineup here as they move away from Tate. And on the inside, Martin DUGARD breaks into the bend first in blue. Round the outside in white. To take the lead goes Leigh Adams. Jason CRUMP in pursuit. He goes round the outside of DUGARD. DUGARD holds it tight, leaves CRUMP no room, and now he's back in last place with DUGARD following the Australian Leigh Adams in front. Going wide and picking up the grip. DUGARD tries to battle. CRUMP comes from the rear and puts a challenge in on Thorpe. There's plenty of action in this one.
Yeah, DUGARD really seems to be doing it all. But the rider in red there has just gone down. Paul Thorpe, who was riding at the back there, has gone down. But fortunately, he's out of the way and he's allowing DUGARD to carry on his pursuit there of Leigh Adams.
Paul Thorpe, though, running into the fence and leaving the Australians with a heat advantage. But now another one's down, and this time CRUMP is down, spinning on the bend. He gets up just in time to keep ahead of Paul Thorpe. The falls are adding to this, but now Leigh Adams out in front at the moment, still in white. Martin DUGARD in blue is second, and the remounted Jason CRUMP is surely going to get a third place here for the Australians. Two men falling, both remounting, but there is the man who's going to take third place, Jason CRUMP, to give the Australians a heat advantage. It all happened in that one. DUGARD was doing well, CRUMP was doing well, CRUMP fell, Adams fell as well. Thorpe, Adams stayed on, Thorpe fell. Well, Peter, we couldn't have had more accident than we did in that one.
No, Tony, we certainly had some incidents in that one, didn't we? The two riders that fell off there, they probably never realised that it was so crucial that they were going to have to get back on the bike so quickly because that 1 point was going begging there. But you see the start there. DUGARD makes a nice start from the inside in the blue helmet. He's riding this inside line. He's going to go right round the inside, but he really underestimates the speed and the dirt that Leigh Adams has got around the outside. You can see Leigh Adams there running in that dirt. DUGARD thinks he's clear, he's heading for the first place here, but Leigh Adams just flies round him in that dirt there. But when they get to the straight there, if you just watch what happens here, DUGARD in the blue helmet is pulling across as he's chasing after Leigh Adams. When they get to the top bend, he dives under Jason CRUMP there. He makes a run for the inside line. He just misses there the back of Adams' front wheel, but he stops CRUMP altogether.
Well, this is how it stayed, and the victory to Leigh Adams ahead of Martin DUGARD and Jason CRUMP. It was 4-2 in favour of the Australians, and it's now England 35, Australia 25.
Leigh, it's vital, those points that you got then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're lagging a little bit. Probably down to me. I started off pretty rough. I'm just trying another engine, and it just didn't work out. You know, it just wasn't revving, and you know, I was getting an awful ride. So I'll stop bikes now, and things feel pretty good. It's I know what to expect from this one, and it felt good in that one.
10 points though behind. Can you pull it back?
I think so. Yeah, we got to pull some tacticals, and you know, maybe we can get it back. It's going to be difficult, but we got to get some 5-1s. You know.
England have the advantage over Australia then. We'll take a break. See you in a moment. Let's go back to our commentary team of Peter Collins and Tony Millard.
That's the lineup. Ben Howe on the outside for England. Jason Crump for Australia, gate 3. Joe Screen for England, gate 2. Jason Lyons on the inside for Australia. That's the lineup. The Australians trying to pull back a 10-point deficit and using Jason Lyons as a tactical substitute. What have the Aussies got to do here, Peter, to pull this back? Because they have basically 4 heats remaining and a 10-point gap to close.
Yes, Tony, they've really got to pull something out of the bag now. We're going into the later stages of the meeting, so they're really going to have to do something. Although they do seem to be clawing back slowly. Whether they can do it or not, I just don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Jason Crump and Joe Screen set for a battle in this one. The starting marshal moves away, up go the tapes and away on the inside is Jason Lyons. He's first to the bend, Crump's at the back. That won't hurt the Australians' cause. Round the outside goes Ben Howe to pick up the lead for England. The 21-year-old from Ipswich is in front, but now through on the inside. Jason Lyons is challenging, but a great ride on the inside from Joe Screen takes him into second place. And a 5-1 for the English here with virtually clinched the test match. Howe in front of Screen in second place. Back in third is Jason Lyons. Jason Crump's at the back, and the English have certainly adapted to this track rather better.
Yes, Ben Howe's riding really, really well. He seems to be doing so much more than his years. But Joe Screen's there now, shielding him from behind. But Ben Howe seems to be doing it all, and Screen is riding round the inside there. They've got the better of these two Aussies, and this is looking much better for England now.
Well, a 5-1 to England here was making a 14-point lead with just 3 heats to go, and nobody could close that one. But here into second place goes Jason Crump, and he's putting a challenge round the outside. Crump comes through. Can he win it? Yes, he does. Jason Crump on the line. Australia's saviour perhaps there in white ahead of Ben Howe in blue in second place. The third place in red is Joe Screen, but what a ride by Jason Crump. He came from nowhere off that top bend. He salutes the crowd, the 20-year-old who was born in Bristol and son of Phil Crump from Mildura. The crowd are showing their appreciation of that. Jason Crump's wheelie shows off his all-round talent, and what a ride round that top bend from the young man.
Oh, that was absolutely brilliant by Jason Crump there. You don't often see somebody come from last to first, but he really did it in that race. He picked riders off lap by lap, but he just about clinched it on the last bend. But we can see here at the start, the English pair, they really had it sewn up early on. You see Joe Screen there, he makes a nice start. He's feathering the clutch there, lots of wheel spin, but he's starting to get some grip as he rushes towards the bend. But just look at Ben Howe there on the outside. It's a long way from the outside to the first corner, and he's chasing that dirt. The rider in yellow there, Jason Lyons, on the inside. At this stage, he really thinks he's in the lead. But Ben Howe there, he looks across and sees that he's gaining. He's got more speed there than Lyons. Lyons suddenly realises that Howe's shooting around the outside. And when they come onto the straight, Howe just dives straight into the first place. But Joe Screen here is also in pursuit.
Crump, though, at this stage is at the back and looks to have it all to do. But from then on, well, he turned on the gas with a vengeance.
Yeah, here's Crump now. You can see him in the third place in the white helmet with a number 1 on his back. Joe Screen there has just peeled off. He's got a kangaroo on his tail. Ben Howe there is really riding a nice line, getting lots of dirt. But look at Crump there, suddenly goes round the outside of Screen. Screen looks across, but there's absolutely nothing he can do about that. He's left a massive gap there, and Crump's come through it. But when they come towards the last bend here, Crump's still going for it. He gets a run round in that dirt. He's running wide. He's running round the outside of Howe. As soon as he gets in that dirt, he turns very, very hard. He gets a load of grip. Now just watch him straighten the wheels up there. Crump almost gets in there. Screeny almost gets in there as well, but Crump gets his wheels in line. There's a lot of grip down the inside of that straight, and he does a great dive straight over the finish there to take Howe on the line. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, a 5-1 to England was almost reversed, finished up with a 3-all, and Jason Crump keeps Australia's hopes alive. It's England 38, Australia 28.
A lesson in not to be complacent, I think, for the English there.
Well, I mean, I got trapped in on the first couple of laps, and the inside line is a little bit slick and slippery at the moment. And well, as soon as I got out on the outside into the deeper dirt, I knew I hoped I could get past, and well, I did luckily in the end, I guess.
Perfect pinch.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Ben rode a very good last corner. He thought he covered me on the outside, but I turned early and got my wheels back in line, and I was just fortunate to drag him across the line.
A slight hope at the end of the tunnel?
Well, yeah, I hope so. I mean, we've really got to get our act together now, and we've just got to go out and start winning races and getting seconds. So the boys know what to do, and hopefully that would have spurred them on a bit.
There in blue is Steve Schofield, who's the second Englishman in the lineup. The Adams rides in white. He's at the back there. Craig Boyce is going from the inside in yellow and black. He's the tactical substitute with the number 5 on his back, and he could hold the key here to the Australians producing, if you like, a rabbit out of a hat, because they've got to do something here. That's Boyce on the inside. Chris Louis is next to him for England. Leigh Adams from Australia, gate 3. Steve Schofield from England on the outside. He goes from gate 4. This man could be the key to Australia's hopes here as he goes from the inside gate. That's Craig Boyce from Sydney. There in blue, that's Steve Schofield, but away on the inside, and first to the bend there is Chris Louis. He's hugging it tight. Schofield's picking up the dirt. It's England 1 and 2 now as Schofield goes into the lead ahead of Chris Louis. It's the pint-sized Steve Schofield. With 1 lap gone as in front, a 5-1 to England on the cards here as this pair can hold this. The Australians are struggling at the back, but here now comes Craig Boyce to mount a challenge, going just where Jason Crump did before. Craig Boyce goes by 1 man. He's now coming in pursuit of a second, but good riding by Chris Louis keeps him wide. Good team riding by the Englishman there, not leaving much room. Boyce has another go, gets himself into second place there on the top bend. He's going to try and go around the outside of Schofield, but Schofield goes wide, and now Boyce comes through. Brilliant riding by the Australian captain.
Absolutely brilliant. The English pair there were really team riding Boyce out, but he really bided his time. He didn't do anything wrong. He kept pushing and pushing, and in the end, he pushed his way through and went straight between them.
And now takes the checkered flag. A marvellous ride by Craig Boyce in yellow ahead of the English pair of Chris Louis in red and Steve Schofield in blue. But it seemed that Craig Boyce learnt an awful lot from Jason Crump's previous ride. He picked them off 1 by 1 and converted what was going to be a 5-1 the wrong way into a 3-all once again. A marvellous ride with the Australian captain ahead of the English pair. And now it's still all level.
Tony, we've got to give full credit here to the track staff here at Wolverhampton, because the track is great for racing, and we've seen so much overtaking here. The English pair both were out there in front, looking as though we were going to get a 5-1 here, but Boyce really pursued them, chased them, and to pass them on the line, that was absolutely unbelievable. He really did the hard work, and it just shows, you know, we've got some real good speedway going off here tonight. Well, look at Chris Louis there in front, but they couldn't hold Boyce up back at all.
While Craig Boyce took the heat, a deserved effort coming right through and picking off his men ahead of Chris Louis and Steve Schofield. It was England 3, Australia 3, and now with 12 heats gone, England lead by 41 points to 31. But this is how he did it.
Yeah, look at Boyce there. He's going straight between the two of that English pair. They were both taken by surprise. I mean, they really knew that he was stalking them, but they did not expect him to come through like that. He really zoomed through the inside there, and such a lot of grip there that he's able to use, and that was a marvellous bit of speedway. We're really seeing some fantastic overtaking here tonight.
From then on, it was easy for the Australian captain. And it's still 10 points in it here, but there's still a little bit to race for. As the sun goes down, Australian hopes rise up again. It's England 41, Australia 31.
There's that very old saying, you know, Craig, about when the going gets tough, tough get going, and you're certainly going at it at the minute.
Yeah, you know, we're behind at the moment, 10 points down, and like Jason inspired me that last race to get out in the dirt, boys, and it worked, so we're fighting back, but we need a few more heats.
You'll be riding around on the barrier if you're not looking out for any more dirt.
Yeah, the track's really nice, and it provides a good line around the outside as well, so good racing.
You all seem just a little, I mean, it was tough in pull, but I've got to say the tension here in the Aussie side of the camp at the moment seems to be very, very intense.
Yeah, we're sure losers, to be honest with you.
With 4 heats to go, Jason Crump's the Australian top scorer with 9. Chris Louis for England and Martin DUGARD. Louis with 9, DUGARD with 8. Craig Boyce has 8 for Australia, Steve Schofield 7. Crump and Boyce are both in this one for the Australians, and nothing less than really a 5-1 will do to keep them in the match. This heat 13 may be unlucky for somebody, but it's going to be vital for the Australians to get in it. Craig Boyce on the outside, Joe Screen, Jason Crump, and Paul Thorpe is the lineup. This is heat 13. This and 3 more to go. There's the key, Jason Crump in white. The starting marshal walks away, and Crump is to the bend first in front. This is going to count. He needs his teammate Boyce with him. Boyce comes through on the inside, picks off Thorpe as if he's not there, and now the pressure is on up front. Boyce is going to have to chase Joe Screen. Screen's in the centre of the track, but way out front is Jason Crump. And what a start at first bend by the World Under-21 champion.
That was an absolute jet of a start, wasn't it, from Crump? But really, Joe Screen's going to have his work cut out to try and keep Boyce behind, because we saw the way Boyce came from behind earlier on.
Well, Crump is out there in front, Screen's in pursuit, and Boyce has an awful lot to do if he's going to catch him with only a lap and a half to go. The battle at the back may count, but for my money, the man of this heat is undoubtedly Jason Crump. Crump leads Joe Screen, ahead of him third place, Craig Boyce. England's Paul Thorpe is way at the back. This is going to be a 4-2 for the Australians, but this could be too late as far as they are concerned. Taking the checkered flag in white is Jason Crump. Second place in blue, Joe Screen. Third for the Australians in yellow and black. That is Craig Boyce. It's a 4-2 to the Australians and reduces the gap to 8 points. But what a ride by the World Under-21 champion, Jason Crump.
Yes, Tony, you know when you drop that clutch on the start, the G-forces are unbelievable as that bike's accelerating to the first corner. And Crump made an absolute rocket. I mean, he really must have felt the bike really pulling away, pulling his arms out as he raced to that first corner, and he was miles clear by the time he got there. You see Screen there on the outside. He's really trying to keep his weight forward so he doesn't kill off the engine. He's trying to keep the revs up, but just look at Crump, absolutely streaking there into that first bend. Never involved at all with what's going on behind him, and what a first turn.
Well, it ended with Jason Crump in front of Joe Screen and Craig Boyce. That's a 4-2 to the Australians. And now with 3 heats to go, it's England 43, Australia 35. This heat could be decisive. There in the white helmet colours is Ron Sullivan. Rides for Peterborough here in England, and if he can produce some of his league form, and he's among the favourites for the World Under-21 Championship, well, this could change. Next to him in blue is Ben Howe. Hard work there from Ben Howe, digging for victory, the 21-year-old from Ipswich. So Sullivan on the inside from Howe, moving across there in yellow and black. That is Leigh Adams. This heat could decide the Ashes. Going back there is Ron Sullivan, who wants a breather. The nerve ends are jangling here, but not so for that man, Mark LORAM. LORAM 6 points already this evening, but Ron Sullivan could hold the key to this one. If he can produce the goods, along with teammate Leigh Adams, well, who knows, the Australians still have a hope. Sullivan on the inside, Ben Howe next to him, Leigh Adams gate 3, Mark LORAM on the outside. That's the lineup. This is heat 14. The starting marshal's doing his job. He moves away, the motors roar, away on the inside goes Ron Sullivan. This could be a telling time. Sullivan goes wide, in pursuit over England is Mark LORAM. At the back in third place for Australia is Leigh Adams. There's going to be work. Adams goes through into second place, or does he? No, he's held off by Mark LORAM. They're certainly making a fight of this, these Aussies.
Yes, Sullivan hasn't done much up until now, but he's absolutely flying in this one. But look at LORAM here, trying everything he knows to get by him.
LORAM is going to work there, but Sullivan's going to have to work harder. Still, Sullivan keeps him back with 2 laps gone. Can he hold LORAM at bay any longer? This time he's making LORAM go around the outside. Holds a tight line as he comes out of the bend. Remember, Sullivan and his teammate Leigh Adams back in third place. Adams going to put the pressure on, but here on the inside goes Mark LORAM. That could be the manoeuvre that wins the test match for England. Back comes LORAM down the back straight. That could be the turning point for England here. With a quarter of a lap to go, Mark LORAM's going to win this one in red. A marvellous ride on that lap. Into second place goes Ron Sullivan. Back in third place is Leigh Adams. The points are shared for the heat, but still England lead by 8 points with 2 heats to go. A marvellous win there by Mark LORAM, taking Ron Sullivan on the last lap. A great effort by Mark LORAM there to provide him with his second successive heat victory, and England with a 3-all. It's now England 46, Australia 38.
Oh, that was another great speedway race, wasn't it, Tony? Ryan Sullivan made the start there, but all the time you realised that Mark LORAM was really trying. You really felt that LORAM may have had enough speed to go by him. You see here, Sullivan makes a really nice start there off gate number 1. He's really accelerating to that first turn, but look at LORAM there on the outside. He really lines it up well there. He's got his back wheel in that grip. That dirt's flying there as he takes that extra bit of grip that's on there on the outside. But Sullivan lifts there. Look at the grip Sullivan gets there. His front wheel's lifting as he takes that lead. But LORAM is chasing him. He's following that line. He's really chasing after him. You can see LORAM here. He's coming up the inside. Again, he's using that dirt that's on the inside of the straight. He's taking the shortest way to the corner. Sullivan's completely unaware that LORAM was coming through there. By the time they get to the corner, Sullivan had to move over and just let LORAM go through. That was really determined riding there from Mark. What a rider he is from the back.
Well, he did it from the back. He finished in the front with Ron Sullivan in pursuit. He was followed by Leigh Adams to make a 3-all heat score. And now with 2 heats remaining, it's England 46, Australia 38, and nothing less than 2-5-1 for Australia in the 2 remaining heats could earn them a share of the spoils. Now here as we approach the last 2 heats, John Louis, the England team manager, Neil Street there in the back of the picture, the Australian team manager. It's time for thought, because 2 5-1s would square the match, those in favour of the Australians. If England can improve upon that, then the Ashes will remain in England.
Neil, tough decisions. Is it going to work for you?
Ooh, I thought it was going to work in for a moment. I thought it was one that just came off, but it didn't quite. Ryan just couldn't quite hang on to it long enough, unfortunately.
One of them kind of nights tonight, isn't it?
It's been very, I don't know what I'd like to say about it. It hasn't been exactly running as we would like it to anyway, Keith.
Okay, best of luck in the last 2.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you've got choices. You've got 1 and 3. Joe's going to take 1. You want 1?
Sure, well, I just went off 3 then. I sat there, didn't move.
Sure. Right. Joe 1. You all right beyond? Yep. 3 marks. Okay. DUGARD. Okay. So that's you red, you blue. Okay.
John, it's always tough, isn't it? But you got it worked out?
Yeah, it is tough because we got 3 riders on 9, so therefore we got a permutation we can make. You know, for top scorers race, I have sort of 3 riders to pick from for that one, so that makes it
a very pleasant change.
Makes it interesting, yes.
Joe Screen making his mark on this track, which is giving him a chance of a great start. Well, the chance will be for this English pair of Screen in red and DUGARD in blue to win the Ashes now for England. But they have a battle on their hands with Leigh Adams in white and Jason Lyons in yellow and black. Joe Screen is there, and certainly with his efforts, Shaggy, Joe Screen they call him, and he so far has produced the goods here. 1 heat victory, 2 third places in the second so far tonight. Can he improve? The starting marshal is getting impatient with Jason Lyons on the outside there. He eventually gets him up to tape. The nerve ends are jangling. This is heat 15. The Ashes at stake as the starting marshal moves away. Up go the tapes, and there is Leigh Adams to the bend first. And his colleague is with him, Jason Lyons. If the Aussies can get a 5-1 here and it stays like this, then the heat is alive, the test is alive to the very last race. But England have to battle at the back. DUGARD's in pursuit now, but out front in yellow and black is Jason Lyons. Lyons is going wide. DUGARD's trying to come through on the inside. He takes the bend there, cuts inside Leigh Adams, and earns a second place there. DUGARD is battling up front. He's stripped the Australian pairing. A fine ride by the Englishman.
What an absolutely brilliant pass there by Martin DUGARD. If he can do this, this will be a match winner for us. But he's really gone off circuit now. Leigh Adams has dived up the inside. Is he going to be able to hold on to that second place, Tony?
With a lap to go, DUGARD goes wide where he picks up the grip, picks up the speed, and storms down the back straight, and now goes by Jason Lyons. DUGARD could win this heat and win the test match for England. Martin DUGARD takes the heat ahead of Jason Lyons. What an effort by the Englishman. The Australians were left in his wake, but surely that heat victory by Martin DUGARD has won the Ashes for England. Martin DUGARD then, the winner of Heat 15. The handshakes there from Jason Lyons. The challenge all the way. DUGARD back in third place. Gains the cheers as he came through into second and then to first to take the heat. and ensure that England win the test match. The heat might have been a 3-all with the Australians in the wake of DUGARD, but with England now leading by 49 points to 41, the Ashes are with John Lewis' team.
Oh, that was an absolutely unbelievable ride there from Martin DUGARD. You see Leigh Adams there makes a cracking start there. He knocks Joe Screen. Joe Screen's back wheel snakes all over the place. The two Aussies take the lead. We can see Screen's back wheel again there. He hesitated slightly, let the clutch go and grabbed it again because he probably thought he was going to touch the tapes, but Adams made an absolute rocket of a start there. Now the English pair are both at the back here, but DUGARD was so determined to chase after these two Australians. There was one point where I really felt he'd gone too wide and was off the picture. You can see DUGARD here now. He dives up the inside of Leigh Adams. Leigh Adams has to move out the way. He takes evasive action. Jason Lyons is still there in the lead, but that's one down for DUGARD and one to go. He's going to chase after Lyons here. You can see the second one now. He dives under Lyons, exactly the same thing as he did to Leigh Adams. He takes him as they enter the turn, runs Lyons a little bit too wide, a bit wider than he really wanted to be. He runs him into the dirt and chops back up the inside and takes that lead. What a fantastic win there for Martin DUGARD.
Martin DUGARD, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The English have the Ashes here at Monmore Green. They lead by 49 points to 41 with just one heat to go.
Martin, the hero of the evening.
Yeah, this time a villain last time against with Gary, but no, it's turned out good for us. We've had a good night, and it looks like we're going to win tonight, so that's really all that counts. And it's nice to be part of a winning side.
Well, you certainly came to form right where it counted. I mean, tonight has been a great night for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've been going pretty well during the league, and these sort of meetings I don't sort of shine at all, and come along with the attitude that it's going to happen tonight, and it has, so can't put it down to anything, and it's just worked properly tonight.
We move on to Heat 16, and this contains 4 Grand Prix riders, the 4 top scorers here this evening. They're racing for glory. They're racing for the finale in the Test Series. England have won by 2 tests to 0 with 1 test match drawn as a result of a win here, a win at Hull and a draw at Poole. But the big names in this one, already at tapes, Craig Boyce in white. That man in yellow and black is Jason CRUMP, a World Under-21 champion. He's had his moments here this evening. Racing for England, Mark LORAM in red is already up there in gate number 2. And Chris Louis is on the outside in gate 4. That's the lineup. On the inside, Craig Boyce for Australia. Next to him, Mark LORAM for England. Jason CRUMP for Australia. He's in gate 3. Chris Louis of England is on the outside. Let's expect a good race here to bring down the curtain on a fabulous Test Series we've seen here. Letting it spin. Craig Boyce allowing his clutch to cool down as he waits for the others to get into place. He's laying back. Now LORAM goes back. CRUMP is already back. Chris Louis is nearest to the tapes. The starting marshal is starting to lose patience. The crowd here have been rewarded with some splendid racing this evening. Away we go. The last team of the night. Away they go from the inside. There is Craig Boyce to the bend, but shooting round the outside is Chris Louis. They go abreast. Away down the back straight goes Boyce in front. Louis cuts through. A brilliant ride by the man from Ipswich. Back in 3rd place is Mark LORAM. We're seeing some fantastic speedway here now as Mark LORAM goes through into 2nd place. Some marvellous riding. If all speedway was like this, Peter Collins, the crowds would come flooding back.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. As we know, these two are actually brothers-in-law, and they both followed through there. One went by Craig Boyce and then the other. Absolutely fantastic. This is marvellous speedway.
Well, we see the passing for this one, and now we see the glory, because out front is Chris Louis, pursued by Mark LORAM. Back in 3rd place is Craig Boyce, and bringing up the rear is Jason CRUMP with a lap to go. This is going to be the icing on the cake for the English. They lead by 8 points at the moment. This will extend the lead to 12. The final half lap of the Ashes series. The glory here is going to the man in front, Chris Louis, as it did at Poole. In 2nd place in red is Mark LORAM. 3rd for Australia in white is Craig Boyce. It brings down the curtain with a 5-1 to the English. A great ride by the brothers-in-law. Great team riding once they got into that position. They both went past in a similar fashion. They may not have made it from the gate, but after that, well, it was England all the way. A 5-1 heat victory for England. a margin by 54 points to 42. They take the test match. They celebrate the wheelies abreast along the finishing line, and everybody here this evening has seen a marvellous test match. Those fans will be happy that they have seen some of the best speedway in England this season.
Oh, what a brilliant speedway meeting. Absolutely great. Look at LORAM there. He hesitated on the start. He dropped the clutch and then grabbed it again. But as he rushes to the corner there, Jason CRUMP on the inside makes a really smashing start. He rushes to the corner there. But Louis on the outside of him, he's really having to go in that dirt. He's chasing round there. He's really got him in his sights. And you know, Tony, this track is very, very wide, and it's really lent itself to good racing tonight. And a lot of these passes we've seen when riders have dived up the inside as they've entered the corner. Absolutely full throttle here with this overtaking manoeuvre. Absolutely brilliant. He dives through there. Great BOYCE on the outside there. Has got no answer to Chris Louis diving through, but already Mark LORAM there in third place is making his move. He realises he can probably do the same thing here as he goes past BOYCE. He really pushes past him there. He's got clear air now. He's running straight to that corner. And here he goes straight by. What a fantastic result for England. We've got the Ashes again.
Well, they've all enjoyed it. A triumph for England. They've won the test match by 54 points to 42. They won the test match at Hull. They drew the test match in spectacular fashion when this man, Chris Louis, it was, who won the final heat down at Poole. And in the end, that wheelie celebrates it all. The brothers-in-law put the wheels in the air. England have won the match by 54 points to 42. They won the series by 2 matches to 0 with 1 drawn.
Well, the end of another great speedway night. I'm here with the team, the victorious English team, and it's not often we can say that, John Louis.
No, it's not, but this year they've been tremendous, the boys have. You know, we've been beaten by the Australians the last couple of years. We put it together this year, and I think tonight the boys rode and won this for Gary as well, lying in his hospital bed. So it was a tremendous effort, and, you know, they put it together, and well done to them.
Well done indeed. Chris Louis, acting team captain, I think, Mr. Serious, and it's all worked out perfectly for you tonight. The Aussies look well and truly beaten in the pit, I've got to say.
Did they? I don't know. I didn't look at them.
Have you not been over there?
No, the first time I spoke to one of them was afterwards when they shook our hands. So, you know, we wanted to do it, meant to do it, and we got out there and done the job, and I thought everybody rode very well.
A delighted with Van